The Northern Ireland government.
No, the Irish government.
Oh, the Irish government. Yeah, sorry. Well, the Irish. That's another. It's a very good question because it raises another thing about the Northern Ireland model. Something that is not mentioned is the hypothetical question: did it have to go on so long? Why did it take so long for the terrorists to be forced to give up? The conflict arguably went on too long, and one of the issues that hasn't been investigated, it may begin to be investigated now as government papers in Dublin come out, is the fact that there was no effective cooperation between the British and Irish state against the IRA for the 1970s and 1980s. That the IRA units who came across the border into Northern Ireland to carry out various attacks and atrocities and murders could carry it out and then go back into the Republic and live a normal life and not be harassed and occasionally be arrested and then released and not extradited. Right? So the role of the Irish government was not a very positive role, and the British government, I think, could have been tougher with Dublin, because fundamentally the thing about the Irish government was that its rhetoric is an all-Ireland rhetoric. But it would run a mile, it would have a heart attack if the British were to say, all right, we are going. Because the thing to remember about Northern Ireland, and to go back to the question about the Basque Country, I mean, the Basque Country, as I understand it, has been at various times a very successful economically, a successful part of Spain, right? Northern Ireland stopped being a successful part, or the north of Ireland stopped being a successful regional economy about 1920. And from 1920, and particularly after the Second World War with the welfare state, Northern Ireland could only survive because it is subsidised to a very substantial amount every year by the British Exchequer. So no Irish government wants the North, because if you got the North, you'd have to replace, or unless you're prepared to let everybody's living standards drop by about 50%, you'd have to take over what the British government does. And that would mean you'd have to increase the rate of income tax in the Republic by half. So the Irish government had an objective reason to support the British, but the British could have used this to try and get, there's no effective cooperation between the two police forces for most of the troubles. Right. When the British, when there was an Irish Prime Minister was overthrown in 1979, when it was discovered that he gave secret permission for a British helicopter to overfly the border for a few miles in pursuit of terrorists. He was overthrown. Jack Lynch, his government came to an end. So that is another aspect of the situation. Now, the Irish government has shifted and moved on. But certainly the British government was left to fight this fight itself. And I think that might have contributed to the violence going on as long as it did.
Bueno, pues ahora parece que sí, de modo que si no hay más preguntas, daremos por terminado esta mesa redonda. Ana, Pedro, como promotores, organizadores, yo puedo decir que me he sentido muy honrado de participar en esta sesión. Yo le pediría al profesor Patterson y a Michael Gallagher que vinieran a España de vez en cuando, que yo creo que su testimonio es importante, una vez que ya han visitado Madrid. Tenemos que agradecer a las intérpretes el trabajo que han realizado, no nos olvidamos de ellas. Pero yo sí quisiera, haciendo una expresión muy específica de toda nuestra solidaridad hacia las víctimas del terrorismo. Esta es una fundación que lleva el nombre y está dedicada a la memoria preciada de Gregorio Ordoñez, y que, bueno, afortunadamente en España hemos sido capaces de aprender también las lecciones, de reparar silencios, de de reparar injusticias, pero sí creo que, en este caso, y lo digo a Michael Gallagher muy especialmente, que hemos querido hacer de esta sesión no solamente un ejercicio académico sobre un fenómeno político de interés, sino también todo un acto de memoria, de esa memoria a veces negada o oscurecida de las víctimas, que está siempre presente y que desde luego estoy convencido que una abrumadora mayoría de la sociedad española no perderá de vista en el futuro, sea cual sea el futuro que ellos nos pueda deparar. De modo que muchas gracias a todos y gracias por su presencia en esta mesa redonda en la que creo que no ha habido ni una sola palabra que no tuviera sentido, ni una sola palabra que no hayamos podido aprovechar. Muchas gracias.
That's very kind.